A Day to Remember have returned with their seventh studio album and their first in 5 years, marking their longest time off. But is it any good? So, going into this, I think I only listened to one single, even though they released five, which I think is a good thing because it opened me up to experiencing the album as a whole. But Dan, how were you feeling going into it?
I really wasn't sure going into it. I've listened to a couple of singles, I think, but the only one I actually remember is Brick Wall, and that didn't really do a lot for me. It felt like it was a bit messy and all over the place. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I listened to the Marshmello collaboration and kind of died inside a little bit. And then I heard Degenerates.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Degenerates.
It just didn't make me excited at all. So I didn't pay attention to any of the other singles.
Although I will add, I saw them playing at Reading Festival in 2019. They subbed. They were on just before Foo Fighters, and they played an incredible set. I've seen them a few times. That was the best I've ever seen them. That's when they announced the actual release of the album as well. Um,
Okay.
so that was quite exciting.
Did they play anything new then?
I think they might have played Degenerates because that had just come out. I think, but I'm not certain on that one. But it was mostly just the old school A Day to Remember that you know and love, and obviously that seeing them like they had loads of pyro and stuff. They put on an amazing live show, so it kind of had me a little bit hyped for a new album.
So after a year and a half of waiting for it, now you've heard the album, what do you think of it?
Well, I've said in the past how music fans have a sense of entitlement that when a band they love changes their sound, that the band is totally allowed to do that. They can do whatever they want. Um, but and I don't want to come across as hypocritical, but what A Day to Remember have tried here just hasn't worked at all. Um, it feels like going across the album, it has no real identity at all. It feels like they've kind of seen what Fall Out Boy have done since their return and kind of tried to copy it. And this is most apparent to me on songs like Mind Reader and Bloodsucker, where it's just basically a completely watered down version of what A Day to Remember usually are.
Yeah, I felt, especially those songs that you picked out, I just felt like it was a day to remember, just kind of going through the motions. I don't know, it was just boring. I know that's such a like a harsh word to use, but
That's exactly what I mean by having no identity. It's like it doesn't really know what it's meant to be doing. They know they have to do something, but they don't really know what.
yeah,
It kind of feels like they wanted to change the sound, but they didn't really know what else to do. So they've kind of just forced something on it that doesn't feel natural and organic at all. Like to compare it to the recent Architects album, they've changed their sound up, but it works and it's still like an Architects album at its core. Whereas this just isn't. I don't want to say it isn't right because it's art and they can do what they want, but it just feels like not them.
yeah, and lyrically it felt really lazy and like cringy at times. Like the chorus of FYM, just oh
That just didn't even make any sense. And they're using stuff like gun noises and cash register sounds.
yeah. To avoid getting too negative, were there any parts of this that you did enjoy?
I did feel like it kind of found something on songs like Resentment and Degenerates. Those were kind of different to a normal A Day to Remember song. They've kind of found something that worked for them then. I also liked Last Chance to Dance. The snare on that song it sounds like it's like Peggy Mitchell from EastEnders slapping you in the face. But that song doesn't fit in with anything else on the album, I don't think. It's pretty much like something off their old album, but even if you put it on any of their other albums, that song wouldn't really stand out at all.
It almost felt like, for as good a song as it is, that they looked at their album without it and thought, oh shit, we're supposed to be heavy
Yeah,
sometimes, and just chucked it in.
and that's where some of the other songs have a downfall as well because they're just sort of pop songs, and then it's like, oh yeah, we're a day to remember. We need to stick a breakdown on the end of this, which is why I think it would have just been better if they just stuck to what they're good at and do well, rather than try to do something else and then merge it with what they're good at as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because for me, a big problem that I had with this album is that There are a couple of cool moments, but you have to suffer through really uninspired music to get to it, and then it's over so quickly, and you're back into something else that's boring. And it was such a frustrating album to listen to.
And that stands out the most, I think, with the structuring of Last Chance to Dance. I can't remember the name of the song before and after, but I just remember it's kind of a bland, almost pop-like song. And then you've got Last Chance to Dance, which like rips your face off, and then it goes back to being really tame again.
So I guess to wrap it up, do you have any kind of closing thoughts on this, Dan?
Well, I feel like it's kind of maybe revealed A Day to Remember as a bit of a one-trick pony. They're absolutely brilliant band. They're good at what they do, but this album's kind of shown that they just need to stick to what they do, really.
Yeah, and for me, it was weird because it was delayed for such a long time, and yet it comes across like they're trying to hop on current musical trends, but then there are parts of it that feels like it's music from an era in the scene that's already passed. And for a band that were like trailblazers for such a long time, I think the biggest takeaway from this album is that it's a bit of an identity crisis for them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said with Fall Out Boy, some of these songs sound a lot like when Fall Out Boy first made their comeback, but that was what 2012, 2013, around then.
Yeah,
So that's already sort of 9 or 10 years out of date. So they've kind of tried a new sound, but the new sound they're trying is already an old sound. I also find it quite funny that the album name is You're Welcome, and I've not seen many pleasant comments about it, and we've had to wait a year and a half.
I'm not thankful for any of it.
I wonder if the next album will be called We're Sorry.
I think it should be. But those are just our thoughts. What did you guys at home think? Are we being too harsh, or have we got it right? Leave your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe for more reviews, our monthly podcast, and little news videos. Thanks for watching.